Hey guys, welcome to another unboxing video here today. In today's video, we'll be actually unboxing the exact same setup that I had for the Minisforum a few weeks back, but this will be take two because I bought a second one to actually do because you can't just have one to cluster, you gotta have at least two, which means you actually have to really get three because I want to do a Ceph cluster, so who knows, maybe there'll be a third one. So at least in this video, I won't be struggling how to open the box, and for those of you who've been interested, I did actually buy an iFixit set, so I actually am not going to be using my Leatherman in this video. I know, sad. But we'll be having a lot of good time here doing that, and then I can talk about all my experiences with the Minisforum that I've had so far, which has been amazing, honestly, actually. So let's get started. Okay, so essentially I have the exact same setup that I bought. So I got the Minisforum, and I got the i9 i9 13900H. So on the box, you can see here, i9 13900H. There is no memory and no storage in it because I ended up buying the Crucial again. So maxing it out with the 96 gigs of RAM, which has been great. So I figured out everything's been stable after I updated the microcode. So essentially the 96 gigs, no issues so far with it for the last few weeks. And then going with the Western Digital again, but you can use the Samsung 990 or whatever, but I just decided to stick with the same thing. But we'll get the 2 terabyte with the 7300 megabytes per second speed because honestly, it is blazing fast. I have never installed a Windows server as quick as I have before, and it's amazing. So the lack of delay kind of concerns me because I'm just like, oh my god, now what do I do with my life? Windows installs in like less than 2 minutes. So there's no more waiting for paint to dry and things like that. So that's been pretty cool. So for unboxing, it's pretty simple. The box comes into a pretty nice box. So you can slide it out underneath. There really isn't too much to it. And the best part about this, and I'm gonna slide off camera here, is essentially there isn't as many screws as I made it seem in my very first video, because the box actually slides out. So you can actually just slide it out. And we'll see if we can do it in this video today. So hopefully it all works out. So opening it up, you essentially get your Minisforum right here. It's all boxed up. It comes with a few things as well, so let's take it out here. So you can see it's all wrapped in plastic, pretty good. Nothing in particular. Underneath it, we have more things to open up. So you can open it up, and it comes with a few things that we will may or may not use. So here we got the HDMI cord. It's a pretty small cord, so if you need a longer one, you can easily buy one like on Amazon and get like Amazon Basics. Nothing too fancy since we're gonna be using it as a server and not a computer. You got your power cord, which goes to this power adapter, which this switching adapter is, I think, a 19 volt one. Yeah, 19 volt output right here. So if you ever need to replace it, that's what it is. So we'll put that to the side. And then you got two other things in here as well. So you will get a heatsink that you can use. So just a heatsink that you can use for your NVMe if you decide to use. So I will not. I didn't put one on my first one, and I don't think I'll have any heating problems on my second one either. But if you do, that's something you should probably consider to be put on. And then it also comes with this very nice adapter, which is essentially, and if I open it up, a NVMe to, well, SSD to NVMe. So your U2 slot, essentially. Oh, I'm ripping this apart pretty badly. Whoop. I was hoping to try to keep the packaging because I wasn't going to plan to use it. All right, here we go. Not too bad. So if you decide you don't want to go the NVMe route because it's slightly more expensive, you can get a Oh, that's interesting. That's a cover. Okay, so that is a cover. I was wondering, I was like, where are the slots? So this is NVMe, and then this is your normal SATA, so you can just hook in an SSD in here and use it. And we're gonna put that back on because we aren't going to use it. But it does come with it, so you don't need to buy an adapter if you were to decide to use it. And that is pretty much it for the contents of what it comes with. So we'll put this to the side as well, and the box to the side because we won't be using it. And then we'll just put the box down here. Okay, so now the fun part. This is what you guys all have been waiting for. The machine itself. So let's unravel this. Which has been pretty good. And now you can see that it is pretty small. It's like, you know, really it's really tiny when you kind of look at it. But I mean, you got your easy stuff at the front. So you got your power, you got a headphone jack, which we won't ever use because we're going to use this as a server. With Proxmox, you got your USB, and then on the back, you also got your SPF, which we'll be using. So I actually bought some SPF cables as well that I'll be hooking up to my UDM until I actually get a like high aggregation switch. You got 2.5 gig ports, you got your Thunderbolt, HDMI, and more USB, and then your power. So the fun part about this is there are screws on the bottom here that you could take out if you were just to mess with like your NVMe stuff and not anything else. But we actually have to open it up all the way because we'll be putting both the NVMe and the RAM. And the RAM is on the other side. So we don't technically need to unscrew this part because there is a quick release on the back right here where you push down and you should be able to slide it out like that. So push it down, slide it out, don't drop it because that would be a more awkward moment. And that actually looks kind of different than the one that I think I had. But maybe I'm imagining things. Let's look at the back. Okay, yeah, so this looks the same with the 3 fans. NVMe is on the back here. And then your RAM is going to be right underneath this fan over here. So we'll do the RAM first. So we will go find the appropriate screw here to do this. So I think that one kind of looks a little bit big. Let's use a smaller one. Ah, yes, that one. Then pull out our iFixit little screw. And attempt not to drop any screws while unscrewing. So zoom in a little bit here. I do love the camera. So I got a Sony EV10 camera, ZEV10, and it's an amazing camera. So this is just my webcam for my face, but the camera for this is actually a really nice one. But I guess you guys don't really want to see my fingers. It just focused on my fingers. Okay. There's one screw. Well, move it over to see if it... Yeah, it didn't focus on my fingers this time. Nice. 2 screws. Three screws. And then it should just lift up. And now you can see the 2 RAM slots right over here. So we can unbox our RAM. So we got 96 gigs, so 248 gig sticks. So you can see on here, reading it, it's 248, so 48 gigs, DDR5, 5600. So this Minisforum only supports 5200 megahertz, but if you buy this, it's up to 56, but 56, you can actually, it will just auto tune it down to 52 essentially, so you don't have to worry about that if you decide to buy this one. So it all works out. Technology has advanced to a level that's actually smart enough to actually think about that. Ooh. All right. Now we gotta open it up and not break the RAM on accident. All right, so you got your 2 RAM sticks here. Oh. Your 2 RAM sticks here. So we'll take one of them out and put it in. So technically there's only one way to put in a RAM stick, right? So you can see how whether it lines up with the middle. So like if you put it in like this, you can see that the middle actually doesn't line up, right? So you can see that right here doesn't line up with right here, which means that this needs to go the other way. So make sure you do line it up correctly, because if you don't line it up correctly, so you can see how the notch lines up perfectly in, right? If you don't line it up correctly, you will ruin your RAM. So once you slide it in, you should be able to push it down. And we're gonna do both sides, and then it'll clip in. So these two clips will clip it in so it holds it in, and you're essentially good. So we'll do the same thing on the other side. So I believe this fits in the other way here. And I'm trying to make it so that you can actually see it and it's not just my fingers covering the whole screen. So you can see how the notch fits in perfectly right there. Give me a second, let me show it again. Okay, well, maybe not. But you can see how there's the notch right there and the hole right there, and they fit in perfectly. So we'll put it in, push on both ends down, and you'll hear the thing click together. And so now you've installed 96 gigs worth of RAM. Hopefully both RAM works and we won't have any issues with that, which will be great. And 96 is technically the max. Minisforum won't actually say, they'll say 64 is the most supported, but with this processor, if you get the 13900H specifically, it can support up to 96. Which is still a lot less than my server, because I have essentially like 800 gigs of RAM in my server, but it's all like DDR3 versus DDR5 and 5600 megahertz. So this will be significantly better, and that's the best part so far about my existing server, or my current Minisforum. So I migrate everything over. I used VMware, and then I migrated to Proxmox. Because I couldn't install VMware just without doing some, stuff with this, and I was just like, I'm too lazy. Once you've worked in tech long enough, you don't want to start making custom things to make things work. You just want things to work by default. So, okay, I will say that the iFix kit is actually pretty good. I blame my friend. He was the one that convinced me to go get it. He was giving me a hard time for using it, for using my Leatherman, but he's right. He's right. So shout out to you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And then you got the fan back here with the NVMe slots. So you got 3 NVMe slots. Wi-Fi card over here, but let's take off the fan first. So same thing. Oh, no, this is the big one. You gotta get the bigger screw. The real question is whether or not I'm gonna accidentally lose one of these screws, and I hope not. Drill bit set. So these are going to be longer screws. Here we go. So you can see here that these are actually significantly longer because they will hit into the motherboard, or the slot that's farther in. So the fan is actually raised a little bit. But technically you only need to do 6 screws, and you don't need to do the screws in the case on the outside, because it just slides out. And then you can lift it up. And now you see essentially your slots over here. So if you were to use your normal SSD 2.5 inch U2 or U3, it would go in right over here. So you would use this slot right here with the adapter that they had. Plug it into this slot, and then you could plug in your SSD like right here. In this case, we have all NVMEs, so we'll be able to use all 3 of these NVMEs when we do it. The one thing to note with the NVMEs is these are all different slots. So this is a PCIe 4 with, I think, a 4-lane. This is PCIe 3 with a 3-lane, PCIe 3 with a 2-lane, which means that they're different speeds. So this one that's why I bought specifically the 7300, because you'll get the most performance out of this. But with PCIe 3 with 4-lane, you get up to like 4000, give or take. And then PCIe 3 with 2-lane, this is about 2000. So you want to get this, which will be about 8000 speeds, 4000, and then 2000. So I'll buy slower ones for these two. So I'm not wasting money buying a faster one and plugging it in because it won't ever get the speeds. So what we'll do now is unbox this. In here. And we can see that you get a really nice 2 terabyte. And I'm pretty sure it says certain things on here. It looks like it was made in Malaysia, some other things, and we're not going to worry about it. But it's the one that we want. So technically this is also pretty simple. So screw here, we'll unscrew this. Okay. Yeah, that screw. Too big. Too small? Wait, let me double check. Oh, fan. It's okay. No, it wasn't big enough. It's too small, both of those. There we go. So we'll unscrew that because we need to mount it in. So we'll put the drive in, and same thing goes one way. So you can see the notch right here is right there. And usually the sticker will be the front facing one, because you can't obviously put it in like this because that notch does not live there. So put it in, slid in, grab the screw again. Hold it down and screw it back in. All right, now it's all tight and we're good. So we'll reinstall the fan. Here we go. And technically, because I won't ever use the Wi-Fi card because I'll be using the SFP Plus, I could remove the Wi-Fi card, but we'll leave it in for now. But that is something to consider, that if you decide you want to use this as not, a server, or you don't want to ever use the Wi-Fi on it. I've never used the Wi-Fi myself, so I can't contest to the Wi-Fi either. But if you were to use the Wi-Fi, or not to use the Wi-Fi, you could take out the card so it never gets to a point where you ever, it ever tries to use the card, especially if you're trying to go for like a low voltage, setup or something of that sort. Oh, I need to line this up. Because if you're not going to use stuff, you might as well take it out. It's just kind of the idea. All right, there for that one. Okay, and we'll get the other two in. So significantly less amount of screws this way. Just don't drop it when you pop it open, guys. So essentially you get 6 screws. You just remove the fan from both sides. Both sides are 3 screws, and that's it. Alright, and then we'll take this one back up. And you're golden. So now you've installed your NVMe, you've installed your RAM, and now you can power it on, hope it powers on, and everything works. So let's box it up together one more time. Okay, so it's gonna, I'll zoom out here. So it will just go the way that You can look at the front-facing plates and compare it with the front-facing I/O on your case. So you can see that it's going to go on like this. So we're just going to pop it in like this. You can see everything lines up before I pop it in. On the back, everything lines up. And pop it in and it clicks. So then you can see right here, it all lines up and closed. So, boop. There you go. Now you've installed your stuff and you're ready to get started with your Minisforum. So that's pretty much going to be it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed the quicker unboxing with the setup. And if you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.